Hey everybody, thanks for watching. And just a quick reminder that the flash drive sale is still available. Make sure you guys take advantage. I'm going to leave it up for the weekend. I want to thank everybody who took advantage of the sale the other day. I appreciate the support. Make sure you guys check out Mystery School Volume 8. That is also available. It's a good video. Make sure you guys see that. It is on Merkable Academy for those who ask. It will be on the flash drive as well, and there's a few new videos coming up. Make sure you guys grab the flash drive. It comes with the Never Pay Again membership for this weekend, so make sure you guys grab it. So let's get into this video. Want to touch on real quick. You know, I have a lot of videos on hip hop and just talking about hip hop. There's a lot of blogs out there that I'm a part of. There's also a lot of people who hit me up with columns about hip hop. I talked about my time in the industry for a little bit, just developing artists or what have you. I love hip hop. I honestly believe that hip hop could save the Black community, just not in its present form, and not as long as we don't own, the music. Right now we don't control the music. We don't really own it. We're putting out what's selling. We're putting out what the record labels are buying and what they want to put out. And yeah, we all can choose. We can choose what we want to listen to or what have you, but we're really picking from choices that has already been made for us. We're picking from songs and content that's already been put out and created before we have the chance to choose. So we can't choose what we're listening to exactly. It's just from what's been being put out. But we live a hip hop culture as Black people. That's basically our culture, is this hip hop culture. And unfortunately, the music is about violence and drugs, what have you. So a lot of people, of course, especially a lot of rappers, because it's one of the things I get from a lot of people who, they're going to defend hip hop because they want to be in the industry, or they're already in the industry or have hopes and dreams of being a rap star, what have you. But people want to forget what the content is about. It's okay to defend hip hop. If you want to say hip hop is this, hip hop is that, I understand that. But these people who are trying to separate hip hop and get hip hop, rap, gangster rap, or whatever you want to call it, the type of music that I'm talking about is rap or hip hop or music that is glorifying violence in the Black community. So I don't care if it's hip hop, rap, gangster rap, or what have you. If it's glorifying Black on Black crime and the violence in the Black community, disrespecting Black women, and basically glorifying the destruction of our community, that's the music I'm talking about. I don't care who is singing the music or who is putting the music out. That's what we're talking about. But a lot of people don't understand that this is our culture. This is what we live. And anywhere you go in the Black community throughout America, it's hip hop. We dress that certain way. We speak that certain way. The slang, just the mannerisms, how we interact with each other is on this hip hop culture, this hip hop level. And that's just how it is. Now, this is one of the reasons why when you see an educated person or a Black person who doesn't really listen to hip hop like that, and he speaks and he sounds, what we call professional, they say you sound white, because he doesn't sound hip hop. It doesn't sound street. And we got to understand that it's just something that's been so normalized over the years. And this generation, they're born into it, so they don't really get it. But a lot of these kids these days is really grasping hip hop and really getting into the music, and they just don't understand how it comes from this background that was really positive at one point, until the record labels got a hold of it and decided to only promote music that is talking about Black on Black crime. So some people say you have Asians and Italians, other people who have music and they also listen to hip hop music. But how come we're not talking about those communities, and how come the music is not affecting those communities? And you got to understand, you can't put the Black community in the same category as the Asian and white community, because we don't have the same problems. We don't have the same situations. And, hip hop is not their culture. It's just not. So Chinese people can listen to hip hop. White people can listen to hip hop. Hip hop is not their culture. It's not what they grew up in, and it's not prevalent. It's not the dominating force in their community. It's just not. It is in ours. And when you have hip hop as a culture, and hip hop is glorifying the violence and the murder and the drug use and the thought culture or what have you, this is what we're seeing in the Black community. We're not seeing that in the Asian community. We're not seeing that in the white community because it's not their culture. So, a lot of people say, oh, well, what about movies? How come if we're going to ban hip hop, which I'm not saying ban hip hop, I'm just saying we need to change the music. But a lot of people say, well, how come movies? We don't talk about movies. If we got to ban the music, we got to ban the movies as well. And movies are different. Movies also, everybody watch movies, and movies affect people differently. But if you look at a movie about, the mob, a mob movie, an Italian movie, that is something that's not going to affect the Italian community as a whole or the white community as a whole, because the Italian community they don't live a mafia, culture. They don't live a gang culture or what have you. So you have Italians or, white people whose culture is completely different from ours, which we all know that. And their culture is not conducive to their music. It's just not, even with the mob, the mafia, they took, gangster culture and, what was going on back in the 20s, the whole gang lifestyle or gangster lifestyle with the mafia. They took that and parlayed it into, corporations, companies. They put judges and people in politics and positions of power for their people. And then they basically turned legit. So now they're running a bunch of shit out here that's legit. And we haven't done that with hip hop culture because we're basically glorifying what's destroying the black community. We're glorifying shitting on each other and making each other look bad and thought culture or what have you. So it's not the same. Yeah, we could look at the mob and the mafia and what was going on back then and look at it and say it's bad. But everything that was surrounding them with the mafia was about money. It was about, families, the families, and these people get money. And it was, yeah, of course they were shooting each other and it was problems and issues, but a lot had to happen for that to happen. It's just completely different. You can't put those in the same category. And then again, it's not just hip hop that's destroying the black community. It's also, systemic racism, poverty. And we can't look at the Asian community and the white community and say that they experience the same, poverty and any racism that we have. So we can't keep putting ourselves in the same boat as these white folks and these Asians. A lot of people always say, you keep talking about hip hop, why don't you talk about the rest of the music? And white people got crazy music. Their music is not conducive to their culture. Their music is not their culture, whereas hip hop is our culture. Now, people may disagree with that, but it's clear that hip hop is the predominant culture for black people. If we were going to pick our culture and what is dominating our communities, it's going to be hip hop. It's just what it is. And, somebody asked, well, what did we do before hip hop? Like, how was we held down before rap? Because a lot of people want to point to before rap and say, well, before rap, things were bad. So you can't just say, when hip hop came, everything got bad. And again, I'm not saying that hip hop is the only thing that drives down the black community. Again, it's also systemic racism, also poverty. But you got to look at when hip hop came and how things was before, as I talked about. So yeah, before hip hop, we had way more black businesses. We had more black men in colleges and employed than ever before. So talk about what the 70s. In the 70s, we closed the wealth gap between us and white America. The wealth gap was closing, and there was more unity between black and white people because of the war. We united against the Vietnam War. And then you got to go back and look at what was going on. As I talked about, when you turn on the TV in the 70s, the majority of crime you seen was from white folks. Plain and simple. Talked about the TV shows, 1 Adam 12, Highway Patrol. Talked about Dragnet. You look at those shows predominantly show white crime. The news, it showed white violence predominantly. All the gang violence with the mafia and what was going on with the mafia around the 70s. That's what was dominating the news then. It wasn't black on black crime. It wasn't black people killing each other or, hip hop, because it wasn't around then, early 70s. So you got to look at that and look at how much we were thriving. You're talking about a united black people who was united against the racism, what was happening to us, the systemic racism. We were united against it. One, and then you had the Vietnam War, you had the unity between black and white people get stronger than ever before. But then they turned and looked at the end of the 70s and the early 80s and seen that black people were closing the wealth gap. So what did they do? They brought crack cocaine into the black community. Plain and simple. Gangster rap was born. Private prisons was created. The TV show Cops was created so they can show that, this whole look that we had as black people, as far as, because before hip hop, you could look at the black community and say, you know what? These people are hardworking. They're nonviolent. We was having nonviolent protests. And marches, peaceful marches, basically saying as a people, we want to be equal. We have no problems with you. We're going to work. We was united in that. We had more businesses. So they looked and seen that and seen the unity between white people who was looking at the government for the first time and saying, you know what? These black people might be right because this government is crazy. They're trying to send our babies off the war and trying to send these black people off the war, but look how they treating these black folks. And then our image then was just that. Peaceful people, working hard. We was going to school. We was doing everything we were supposed to do. And they had to change that image. And this is hip hop predominantly changes that image. Poverty changes that image. But when you have poverty and you're doing the best you can do as a people, you're not killing each other the way we are now, then it's looked at differently as just being poverty versus, oh, y'all poor because y'all killing each other and y'all can't unite. You look at it today. Somebody goes to jail, they come home, and luckily, some people are available to give them jobs in a lot of cases. This is what happens with white folks. They come home and they family got jobs for them or what have you. You come home and you black, and it's hard for you to even get a job, one. And then it's just not enough. And then two, like you being, a lot of us was going to jail before we finished high school. A lot of the guys come out of prison not even having a high school diploma. So that's already an issue. You're behind the 8 ball already. But then, it's hard for you to even get a job because of that. Who's trying to go back to school? That's tough. But then if you got kids, to feed immediately. You need money immediately. So this is why a lot of black men turn to crime. It's just no help there because we don't have the black businesses like we used to. A person can't come home and then their cousin or uncle or friend or what have you, give them a job at the local shop. Like these white people come home and get a family. Yeah, you go work at the deli or work at the supermarket or work at one of the businesses that we own. When you live in a culture that glorifies shitting on each other, meaning that I don't want you to do as good as me. I want to shit on you. I want to look better than you. I want to have better everything than you. Then this is why we don't have no help. People don't want to help. They don't want to support in anything. This is why we're having trouble of getting black support from the community because people will say, well, I'm not going to give you no money and let you shit on me. Not thinking about how much that's destroying the community and bringing the community down. This is one of the things that add to the problem. It's how it is. It's the culture. This is how you got to look at it. If we want to completely destroy a people, if you want to dominate them and make sure they can never dominate you, hip hop is the perfect weapon. And people just not understanding that. We're talking about a culture, a music that's glorifying the destruction of our community and keeping us exactly where we are. And people just don't want to grasp it because they find entertainment in that destruction for some reason. Why the fuck would you want to sit around and listen to people rapping about and glorifying the destruction of your community? Your cousin got shot and killed before. They want to sit around and brag about it. Think about that. Well, this is what we're doing. And then people don't act like they stupid and they don't understand what the music is talking about and what they dancing to. You dancing to, you bobbing your head to the same shit that's destroying the black community. For you wannabe rap artists who keep coming at me in the comment section to talk about, what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about you. What you're not even a mainstream artist, so your music is not reaching the masses of people and affecting people. You're a wannabe. You want to add to the problem. That's your goal, is to add to the problem. You want to be one of those rappers that's shitting on us and walking around flashing your jewelry and everything like that, saying you better than us because you got a record deal. This is what's going on. That's what they want to be. So the people that attacks this whole notion of, I'm not saying get rid of the hip hop culture altogether. I'm just saying we need to change the culture. The culture change, then the people will change and the black community will change. But the music has to reflect that. You can't just say, oh, well, hip hop is just talking about what's going on in the black community and not realizing that it's glorifying the bad part of the community. And it's basically what's creating the problem in the first place. You can't glorify something that is going to be catchy, that you know is going to be trendy, or you're going to know, it drives the culture, because the music drives the culture. So you're telling these kids that it's cool, it's okay for you to go out and shoot people and show guns and everything, all, on video and stuff like that. This is what the culture and the music is showing. That we see it all the time. Somebody get killed, somebody get shot, or what have you, and it's, oh, he was a good person, he ain't do nothing wrong. And then you go and look, and they live that life. They in that culture. You hang around those people that's trying to live that life, flashing guns and selling drugs or what have you, and this is what happens. You can't just say a person is a good person and not look at their lifestyle and what they're involved in. Is, if you're a robber, if you're a thief, if you're doing something illegal, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get killed or arrested, or something bad is going to happen to you. So, don't wait until something does and then try to talk sense into the people. It's just something we got to look at. This youth today is not understanding that we're living a hip hop culture. They were born into it. They think this is normal and how it is. That's why they can't grasp what's going on. They think this is the way it's supposed to be. Everybody else is getting entertainment from it, and we are suffering from the consequences of hip hop culture. And we as a people are not realizing that. Is bigger than us just wanting to be entertained and saying the music is entertainment, and we just like the music and the beat or what have you. It's affecting the youth. It's affecting the Black community. It's destroying it. And until we realize that, nothing is going to change. They're using it against us. They've been using it against us. So we got to realize what's going on and what the music is, and learn how to control it and own it ourselves, so we can put out better music or what have you. But that's the major problem with hip hop, that we need to understand exactly what it is. As I said, it was a Trojan horse to get us to glorify our own destruction. So now, instead of the white community in the world looking at Black people as being these peaceful people, peaceful marches and protests or what have you, people who just trying to work hard and get ahead, who has to deal with systemic racism and racism everywhere, instead of them looking at us and saying, you know what, these people are right, we're going to join them because right is right and what they're doing is right, and this system is wrong and these racist people is wrong. Instead of that happening, they're looking at us and saying we deserve it because we glorify the shit. How can you march when a cop kill a Black person, but not when a Black person kill a Black person? They looking at us completely different. It's about destroying the image. And then people going to say, well, I don't give a fuck what they think about me or what have you. I'm not trying to please white folks. It's not about that. It's about understanding who controls what. We don't control this shit. We don't control these laws. We don't control these politics. So the people who have a voice, or who has a say-so on what's going to happen to Black folks, don't need to be looking at us in that way and saying, you know what, I'm not doing nothing for these people. Don't do shit but kill each other and sell drugs. Soon as something happened to one of us, then y'all want a white person to stand up for y'all. Then y'all want the system to stand up for y'all. Y'all want to go to court and want that white judge to stand up for y'all. Y'all want justice. But, y'all don't give a fuck what these white people think about y'all, what have you. So it's like, it's not about buck dancing or pleasing these people. It's about, why the fuck would you want somebody to portray an image of you that's not you? Why would you want somebody to portray an image of you that's going to hurt you, economically, hurt your family, hurt your kids, have your kids being looked at as something that they're not. You looked at as something that you're not. You could try to be cool or what have you and all that you want, but that's not you. And why would you want that image if you're trying to move forward in something that has to do with economics, business? Why would you want people looking at you with that type of fear and that look? Is not conducive to what you're trying to do with your life. I need to wake up and see what this shit is and see how it's destroying the Black community. Until we change it, nothing is going to change for us. Again, I believe hip hop can fix the Black community. We just got to change the message and own and control our shit. That's it. But yeah, wanted to put this out real quick, and thanks to everybody who's been supporting the flash drive sale. Really appreciate it. Again, lowered the price. Left it up for longer than I said. Make sure you guys take advantage of the sale. You see, I raised the price on the digital downloads. Again, you don't have to deal with that. Just get the Never Pay Again membership. Comes to flash drive, and the videos that's coming up, you won't have to pay for them. I'm trying to make it affordable. I've kept the sale up longer than I was going to keep it up. Trying to look out. Make sure you guys support and grab it and take advantage of the sale. It's worth it. Also comes with the latest videos, as I said, comes with the new Mystery School Volume 8. And, you'll be able to get everything that's coming out. So make sure you guys take advantage. Thanks for watching. See you next video.